Beth. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. How is it sitting up here with everybody hearing these stories?
It's pretty inspiring.
Yeah. Tell us about you.
My name is Beth Marshall, and my business is financiallyauthentic.com, and I have the pleasure of working with today's busy, successful, and self-motivated professionals and entrepreneurs to help them intentionally, authentically, and proactively manage their money and use it as a divine tool so that they can have more freedom and choice in their life. And my other passion is to help people realize that finances and managing your money, I'm going to say something blasphemous, can be friendly and fun. I know you may not believe it, but it really can.
And you joined the Gold program.
I did at GMC in April.
GMC. Yep. And how has it been?
It has been phenomenal. I could talk for hours, and I won't, but I think for me, a bit about my background, I worked in corporate for almost 13 years. I'm a CPA by trade, so very left-brained dominant. So when I decided in December to start off on my own after about a year and a half of working in someone else's small business, so I had a little bit of exposure, and that's actually how I got tuned on to you and listening to you. It was the most frightening thing I've ever done in my life, and I remember the day that I made that decision, and I have no one in my family, no one in my immediate circle of influence that was an entrepreneur. Nobody really understood what it meant. It was crazy. And we were talking about money consciousness this morning. I grew up with, and I love my parents dearly. They taught me everything I know about money management and part of why I'm here. But I grew up with the mindset that financial security comes from a paycheck and benefits, which is not entirely all that helpful when you're thinking about starting your own business.
Sure.
So I had a major block around that I really had to work on. And I just remember the day I decided. I remember the day that I undecided. And I've spent another 6 weeks with a headache and a cold and everything. And then I just said, my body is telling me that I'm supposed to do this. And so that was in December. And when I came to GMC, I actually already had a coach. I had invested. I knew right away. I said, I don't, like Dana said, I don't do things slow. Yeah. I borrow someone else's 10,000 hours. I invest for speed. I move forward. So I had done that. I literally invested in a coach before I gave my notice where I was. And just made that decision for myself. I knew I needed that support. So I was not looking for a coach. And my coach, my other coach, went from January through August. So I actually just completed with her a few weeks ago. And so I was not looking for that. What I was looking for, my CPA brain, my left brain wanted systems. I had the content from my other coach and from other people that I paid attention to, but I didn't have the order. I didn't have the process, and there was just something about who I am that needs that. The other part that I was really, really struggling with was, as you can see by the name of my business, authenticity has been my journey over the last 4 to 5 years, and I couldn't find a way to market that didn't feel ick. It just felt pushy. It felt off. It wasn't right. I had the right message and the right intent of service, but there was no way for me to do it my way and right way. And I'll never forget sitting in that seat and knowing with every fiber of my body that I would learn how to do that here. And I've done that in spades. And now when I have a conversation with a client who's financially challenged, I mean, people come to me and they're having financial challenges. So the idea of investing is crazy. They're like, I know I need to work with you, but I can't. How can I figure this out? I can have that conversation in integrity and with authenticity and help them. Revolutionary for me when I remember at GMC when you said, I can't afford it, to how can I afford it?
Yes.
And that for me, I said, oh God, I already have a coach. I already invested there. I'm only 4 months into my business and the cash flow isn't exactly like fluid.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from corporate where I'm used to a nice big 6-figure salary that I was proud of, that I worked very hard for. And, you know, I live alone. I'm not yet married. I don't yet have children. So it was me and me alone.
Yeah.
So it was very scary, but I knew that I needed to do it. And so, as any CPA or money management person would be, I spent my breaks up in my room with my calculator and figuring everything out. And I eventually just said, I'm just going to do it. And I just figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's been pretty fantastic so far.
There are a lot of people who have a rule around. I can only work with one mentor at the same time, or I can only be in one mastermind at the same time. I believe in breaking rules. Know what the rules are, and then when you can, break them. So Derek and I belong to 2 mastermind groups, and we each have a mentor, and we move faster that way. And it's really refreshing to hear you say, to give permission to somebody who's in this room, because we hear it all the time. Oh, I feel pulled, but I gotta wait till like next January to begin with you. And then, you lose momentum, where you can have 2 fabulous resources that you implement faster at the same time when you have them.
It's funny you mentioned rule breaking, because as a person that used to be very structured,
Yeah.
I now actually can't stand it. I mean, I used to work in a job where I had independence restrictions on what I could invest my money in, so I was like completely shackled. And I now I joined a networking group a few months ago, and then there's another networking group that I wanted to join, and they were saying, oh, well, you can't join another group if you join this group. And I said, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. It's like my rules, my process. So that's
Yeah.
ironically been part of it as well for me.
Yeah.
That's great.
And you increased your income.
I definitely increased my income, yes. When I came to GMC, I really started my business back in January, and very intentionally spent a good 6 to 8 weeks getting my head straight, getting my focus. How did I want to message it? How did I want to talk to people? And quite frankly, calming myself down from freaking out. So that I wouldn't make other people nervous that I was trying to attract, and didn't really sign my first client on until the end of March, so spent a few weeks doing that. So when I came to GMC, I had 2 clients, and I think GMC was on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
The following Tuesday, I signed on 3 clients.
Yeah.
By mid-June, I had a dozen clients. And I'm happy to say I currently have 8 clients that I'm currently working with.
Yeah.
And but I've worked with a total of 15 people.
Yeah.
From the time I started in late March to now.
Do you know what percentage increase in your income? Well, you're a numbers person, I presume.
Yes, I do. From June to July, I had an almost 60% increase in my income.
Wow.
Can we give a
Great job.
congratulations? And there's somebody sitting here who's thinking about joining Gold. What do you want to say to them?
I think for me, some other folks have mentioned the sense of community. I didn't really know how much that was lacking until I had it, and there have been a few people here who have asked me, what is it about Gold that you love so much? And I said, well, where do I start? And the place that I've started is the private Facebook group we have and the level of support we get from the meetings. Disregard the content. Disregard everything else. Not that you aren't fabulous and everything's been great.
I get it.
But
I get it.
No personal offense. But I'm sorry. The support in that group alone was worth the investment tenfold.
Yeah.
At least for me. And again, that's me coming from a place of, this is a new space for me. The floor went out from under me. Every definition I had of success in my entire professional career was done. I had to redevelop that for myself. And everyone in the Gold group helps me stay accountable to the goal that I've set for myself. I've done the workaholic thing. I've done the burnout. And I promised myself that I would never go back. All right, I might start crying. I promised myself I would never go back to that. I will never feel that way again. So I'm building my business very intentionally by working a certain number of hours a week and investing them in being productive. And when I get out of balance, they're the first to rein me back in and say, you're not holding on to your ideal. And I don't have people like that in my life. I have very supportive family, but they don't get it. They don't understand. I'm the odd person. I'm now not walking the path that was designed for me.
Yeah.
I'm off on my own, so sometimes it's lonely, and it's great. And I think as far as you and Derek and what you have to offer is that there's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of knowledge, but the combination of knowledge, systems, and the mindset, heart, community part of it is unlike anything I've seen. So that's really, I think that combination is a very potent combination.
Yeah. And I heard that you made your entire investment back in 3.5 months.
Technically, just a little over 3.
Yeah. Give her a big hand. Woo! Congratulations.
Good job.